Today I wanted to talk about speaking English. Now you might say, this guy's really lost his mind. He's talking about languages and stuff. That's it, I'm unsubscribing. This guy needs some help. Before you unsubscribe and click away, I just want you to hear me out real quick. I just want you to realize that if you do speak English, just recognize how lucky you are. English is widely regarded as the language of the world. There are an estimated 1.5 billion people who speak English, and there are a ton more that are trying to learn it either as a second language or they're trying to teach their kids or whatever it is. If you take a look online at English tutors, you'll find some pretty high prices for English teachers. And for the record, maybe this is the market price. I'm not sure because I don't teach English. If you go to this website right here, superprof.com, you'll find no shortage of English teachers, and they're charging upwards of $50 an hour. There are people out there who are paying other people to learn English or to teach their kid English for $50 an hour just so they can say that they speak it. Meanwhile, those of us that are lucky enough to already know it just don't realize how fortunate we are. Like, just think about the amount of things in the whole world that are in English, and imagine how difficult it must be to go somewhere where you don't speak the language and just live or exist. Say you didn't speak English, and imagine you came to my house and you wanted some broccoli for whatever reason. So you go in the freezer and you take out the bag and you're reading it and it's in another language. You'd be like, what the hell is this? But then I just come in and I say, oh yeah, you just put it in the microwave for 12 minutes, take it out, and boom, there's your broccoli. Most of the internet is in English. You go on Reddit, there's most popular and home and all the other tabs. And then you have to go through that next step or that extra step of translating websites, and the translation isn't always accurate. And to be honest, seeing things like that just make me appreciate knowing English so much more. All of our North American shows and movies are shot in English and then translated and dubbed into other languages. And we go and we sit down and we watch stuff in its native language without even knowing or realizing how lucky we are. If you haven't seen the movie Parasite, first off, I highly recommend watching it. It won like 4 Oscars or something back in 2020, and that movie wasn't in English. Even though it did win Best International Film and Best Picture, you also had to have the subtitles enabled unless you spoke Korean. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fine with subtitles. It doesn't matter to me whether they're on or not, but trying to watch and digest that movie with everything going on in conjunction with trying to read the dialogue at the bottom took some getting used to, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure you also remember the show Squid Game that had its heyday, I think in September of 2021 or something like that. That was another show that was in Korean and they had to be dubbed into English. And again, trying to read and keep up with what was going on screen was something that you actually had to put effort into. And this is something that non-English speakers have to put up with for almost every North American show or movie. One other thing that I saw is that if you listen to the dubbed version of Squid Game in another language, some of the points were getting lost in translation. I'll leave an article link down below, but basically what happened was that when it got subtitled, they took out some of the swearing and a lot of the very important lines were getting lost because they were changing the words for whatever reason. But for us, it's not like when you go and you watch The Martian and your brain can understand what you're hearing, so then you don't have to read the subtitles. There are people that don't know English and they have to watch dubbed things every day, and that's crazy. Take my videos for example. Sure, there are closed captions on YouTube that you can see and click on, and I'm pretty sure you can put it to your language, but I bet that there are certain words and feelings and emotions that aren't being conveyed correctly through those captions, but the people that are watching have to do their best to try and interpret what I'm saying. Apparently, English is also one of the hardest languages to learn. I'm not gonna lie, I'm no expert or anything like that. I just speak the language, but I've seen some people make videos on TikTok and stuff talking about words like through and though and other things. And we as people that speak English, we find it funny. We say, oh, that's so stupid. I wonder who would come up with that, and stuff like that. But we rarely ever think about how difficult it is to learn another language, let alone learning one of the hardest languages to learn in the world. Like, I remember when I was in school and we had this class called ESL, and ESL meant English as a second language. And when I used to skip class, I remember always walking by and seeing kids in there, and it's not that I felt bad for them, but in my head I was like, man, like, you know, what a boring class. Like, you're in class to learn how to speak English, like, you know? But, you know, I was young and dumb, so I had no idea that those kids were just in the class so they could hopefully learn to communicate using the language of the world. I honestly hate to say it, because I think that Western countries kind of push their beliefs on the rest of the world with things like economies and the dollar and armies and technological advancements, and that's kind of why the world is the way it is today. Everything gets compared to the US, right? The US dollar, people's net worth is measured in US dollars. The North Americans are always sticking their nose in other people's business. All the biggest brands come from North America: Nike, Apple, Starbucks, Microsoft, and all these other brands. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think that's kind of how we got to where we are today, with English being the international language and people wanting to speak it. Like, can you imagine if you spoke another language and then all you see on Twitter is these people that speak English talking about this Kendrick Lamar guy and how he's gonna drop an album? Like, you'd probably be like, there are tons of people listening to this. I wanna see what the hype is about. Let me go learn another language to listen to and digest this guy's music. You see what I mean? It's like, you know, North America doesn't always have consideration for the rest of the world. It's like, sometimes North America thinks, oh, you know, we're the only two countries in the world and everybody else is just, I don't know, like aliens or something. Anyway, to kind of end off the video, I just wanted to say that speaking English is definitely a privilege. Like I said, there are people that will pay very good money to learn English because the language is so popular. Actually, one other thing that I also forgot to mention is that if you do speak English, it opens up job opportunities in other countries because the demand is that high for people that want to learn it. In a lot of places, speaking English is a sign that you had a good education, you're in a good career, and you have opportunities to travel. Either way, if you do speak it, you speak one of the languages of the world, and that's not a thing that many people can say. And as always, thanks for watching.